Sure.
Have your thoughts led you into the quicksand of pessimism? Has the tide of emotion
I made
pulled you
it.
beneath the waves of reason? Perhaps you hang onto the cliffs of hope by a fingernail. All
How's
is
the
lost,
chat
friends.
doing?
We invite you to anguish with us in the pit of despair.
What?
I don't know why it goes to autoplay. How do I fix that?
I don't know. How's the chat doing?
Oh, there's no chat.
Okay.
But it looks like we have a person or two listening to us. Hello,
we?
person
Hello.
or two.
Hello.
Or maybe it's just a bot.
I think it's me.
Oh,
I'm on my phone.
then it's just you.
Yeah.
So it's just us, you and me.
That's all right. Okay. Anyway. So, pit of despair. I was driving to a gig yesterday in South Austin. In I don't know how you describe this area. It's not rural and it's not quite suburban yet. It doesn't feel like the classic suburb. It's like the outskirts of a city, kind of an area. So there's, I don't know. Anyway, so I was driving and it was actually by a Sprouts. I was driving and I saw a robotic, what looked like cooler.
Yep.
Driving itself down the sidewalk. Now, I don't know where it was going or what it was doing, but the thought that I had
food.
was it?
Yes.
I didn't check.
Well, maybe I can't say what the contents of said robot were, but I have talked to friends that have confirmed that these things exist in Southern California in certain areas, and they're doing trial runs of these like miniature carts that are automated that will go to an address, notify you they're there, you go out and get your stuff.
I just hate it so much. It makes me feel like the bad guy, the racist bad guy in a movie set in like the 1960s during the civil rights.
Okay.
Like I look at the robot with just like utter hatred.
Yeah.
And so I
robot.
remember, so David Deutsch, who's a physicist in the UK, was on the Sam Harris podcast probably 7, 8, maybe 10 years ago or something. And they were talking about AI and talking about racism towards robots and AIs. And the idea is if that AI is real and these are potentially intelligent beings, our hatred of them or our fear of them is inherently racist because it's prejudicial.
Okay.
And it's this thing where I have this inherent dislike of this type of technology. And I've had it for a long time, and it isn't just robots even. It's technologies that disrupt human connection. So the self-checkout lines at grocery stores.
Yeah.
Like simple
I don't use them.
Simple little things like that. Or answer machines where you like push buttons and a robot kind of helps you through a menu and all that kind of stuff. All this stuff is it sucks to me. I don't like it. And I see that the robotic delivery is sort of in line with that. And all of these forces pushing communities and society apart from each other, atomizing us further, which is funny because I am sort of an avid individualist, but I'm not against community. And in fact, I think that the only way for an individualist society to work is community cooperation, it's this funny kind of other side of the coin, because the only way for like a socialist dystopian nightmare society to really take hold is for us to be completely atomized from each other and be fully reliant on some larger power.
Right, but that's kind of what's happening right now.
Right, exactly. Like
it seems
we're losing our teeth, we're losing our muscles, we're losing everything. It's going to be like WALL-E. Do you remember that movie? Have we talked about that?
I don't think
movie?
I saw it.
It's this movie it's set in the future, and Earth has become a junk heap. Everybody lives in space where everything's done for them by robots. So everybody's really fat, and they're these big fat blobby people, and they just like live in these floating chairs. And they just go to like a restaurant and a movie and takes them to their bed and
Ugh.
takes them to their whatever. And everybody's just really soft and fat and jolly.
Weird. Dude, so how can you be against technology? Like,
Wait,
or
what?
you clarified somewhat that it was against technologies that remove human connection and interaction,
Uh-huh.
right? But you're also way into effects and processing.
Uh-huh.
Like you spent hours working on our EP,
Uh-huh.
right? And that's all done through nothing but technology.
I'm not against technology. I don't think technology is bad.
So only technologies that. So what's bad about having a delivery cart?
Nothing.
Is it because it's not a person? Because you would rather have the UPS.
There's
guy show
nothing
up or the
bad in and
mailman?
of it. Here's the thing. There's nothing bad in and of itself. If you're an inventor and you're like, hey, look at this. I made a delivery cart that delivers for itself. And you go, hey, that's neat. Like, I think that human innovation is great. I think that's actually how we survive better and better all the time. It's like, I don't think a house is a bad thing. And it's probably a little bit better than a tent.
Mm,
Especially if you're trying to have kids. Because
sure.
it's easier to keep bears and lions out and stuff. So I don't think these things are bad. I don't think developing new types of carbon fiber picks that don't degrade as fast is a bad thing. I think that it's when the purpose of that thing becomes siloing control into a body like a government or a corporation or something like that, that takes away people's ability to have power with each other and have strength with each other and have strength in themselves. So once it's actually deteriorating your life, it becomes sort of diminishing or actually negative returns. It's a little bit
Sure.
it's a little bit like the over sanitization of society. If we end up killing all of our immune systems because we sanitize everything to the point that our immune systems are so weak that we'll die with any germs, then
Right.
that is a counterproductive technology. That doesn't mean that I think that all sanitization is bad.
Right.
Like, I don't think there should be like feces everywhere. I think you should clean things up because you don't want to live in an unhealthy environment, but you can go too far.
I told you that I haven't seen it, but I had a buddy telling me that if you go to like a Chili's, that there's a robot that'll tell you where to sit.
Mm-hmm.
Now you like go up, tell how many people are in your party, and it'll tell you what table to go to.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a robot that delivers appetizers now.
Yeah.
I wonder how much more it's going to go. I mean, I haven't heard anything recently, but I remember they were doing trials of using drones to deliver small items.
Yeah.
I mean, that would take it to a whole nother level.
Yep.
Right? Because then you don't even need an Amazon driver for many of those orders.
Right. I mean, there's one piece of despair in it, in that it is non-sentient beings are more valuable than low-end human labor, right?
Right.
And that's the problem, is then it demands, I mean, so you could argue it could be good and could be bad. It will demand of people, of humans, that we provide more value, because if that is, if the robot is able to do that, that's zero. So then you're not going to be able to pay anybody to do that. So people will have to be able to do something better.
Yeah. I think that, so this has been happening for a while. You could argue that this shift had a vast change during the Industrial Revolution, probably.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like steam engines, right? Locomotives, right? Textile plants,
right?
All these things have devalued labor. But what's
Well,
crazy
I don't
about those,
know.
like,
I don't agree with the devaluing labor. But yeah.
well, it made it where labor for those functions, a person cannot compete with one of these machines.
Right, but that doesn't devalue the labor. That devalues the sorry, my sick brain is foggy. It devalues the action, right? So if a person requires $15 an hour to flip hamburgers, or a robot requires 0, that doesn't devalue the labor of that person. That devalues the flipping of hamburgers.
I see.
That person's labor is the value of that person's labor is up to that person.
But I'm saying if the more automation there is, the less opportunity there is for labor.
Maybe. I mean, I don't think that's true. I think that's like the myth of the finite economy. I think that there is no limit to the amount of value that can be provided. The problem is that not everybody.
But the skill set that's required to be a professional, to have a job, right? It's getting less and less for lower positions, right? Like even like a fast food joint, right? It's literally the joke is you literally press a picture, right? It does all the calculations for you. In many cases, you're not even handling currency; you're just pressing a button to accept a transaction, right? So the number of jobs that are actually available, they have a very high standard of entry.
Yeah,
right. Like even the gigs, like I don't make a tremendous amount of money compared to other musicians, but even at my position, like I feel like the standard for entry is so high.
Yeah.
It takes so much effort and so much skill, right? And you have to maintain that, right? It's and there's less and less of these opportunities. Like people are fighting over these gigs that pay $100.
I don't actually think that's because of automation. I think that's I
think it is though, because there's so many recordings, there's tracks available.
I think that it's because of market manipulation. I think it's because of things like minimum wage. I think if we were in a situation where you could actually start doing anything for almost nothing, same as a robot, that actually sets you in a place where you can start to be very creative. Because you're not stuck in these stupid tracks like I can make no money, or I can make $11 an hour at McDonald's, or I can get a degree. Like you're setting yourself up where nobody's valuable to begin with.
I see. And
then you have to find a way to develop your own value.
So do you think we should attack these robots in the street? We should just get a bunch of crowbars and
well.
Look who decided to come on this side of the tracks.
Exactly. Really, really like lean into that bad guy in a 1960s movie.
Dude,
what if the robots can defend themselves? What if you like it just looks like
they have little tasers on them?
Yeah.
Little probes. Has little stun guns.
Oh my god.
Well, I wonder. I mean, because then it's going to become a crime. Like, obviously, it'd be a vandalism. And I wonder if those companies would have enough resource. Like, how would they actually? I don't know how they would prosecute someone that would attack their robot.
Well, maybe
I'm assuming that must feel that. Well, yeah, but what benefit would they receive? I guess it would be if the company owned everything and we still had private jails. Then they could be.
What benefit would they'd get? Like remuneration for someone destroying their robot.
But if that person doesn't have any money, if they can't sue them for goods.
Well, that's the problem with suing anybody anyway. I mean, that's the whole thing. So it's interesting.
Then how are they getting even?
I have a friend from Russia who thinks it's terrible that the West got rid of debtor's prison. Because she says that essentially it makes it legal to steal.
I mean, I can kind of see that.
Because if you don't have anything...
You don't have to pay it off.
Right, because you didn't have to go to debtor's prison if you could pay it. The trouble is if you can't pay it, then you just get away with stealing.
And then as soon as you say, oh, but the loans are predatory, right? But then we're still living in a predatory system.
Yeah.
Well, they are. But then if we have it set up where someone declares bankruptcy and then yet they're not settling on their account, then isn't that being distributed to us in some way? Like that's society's debt then.
Yeah.
You could argue.
Well, that's what something being
we shouldn't give out loans then. We just shouldn't give out loans.
Yeah, I agree.
That's better. We should just not have loans.
Well, here's the thing. No. Anybody can give out any loan they want and they should take on the risk of this loan. This is what I think. I think that giving money to other people should be a high risk situation. So
Right, it's a gamble.
So a bank should have to really convince you to give them all your money. Like, let's just hang on to all your money over here. That should be a hard sell.
Yeah, no, I know. We've talked about this before. Right. Man, but everything's insured. Okay, now I'm getting pretty. I'm getting a lot of despair.
This is dark.
Feelings.
This is like
Yeah.
And we got nothing. We have no marbles.
Yeah, we're out of marbles.
This is the thing. We're playing.
We got the short straw. We got the shortest
straw. We have like
$2,
and we're playing with somebody with like 50 million at the table.
Yeah. This is
so we could go all in to try and like nickel and dime them,
but it doesn't matter. You can't win.
Work. Yeah.
This is where we have to have a very significant shift in economic policy, or we're kind of up a creek.
Yeah.
We're very much up a creek. And that's what it is.
That's it,
well, that's
guys.
cheery. That's cheery. So the robots are going to take over. There's not going to be any jobs left for us.
Yeah. Yep. Doodles.
Gosh.
All right. Well,
I feel cheery now.
Okay.
I feel cheery.
All right. Well, then.
See, I just saw this butterfly in my garden. I texted you that picture. Yeah. I was so excited.
All right.
And I'm like, maybe life will work out. And then I'm realizing that's the only butterfly I've seen like that in years. And that's why I was so happy to see it. I'm like,
there's tons of butterflies here.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm the only garden I see in California that has butterflies right now. Or maybe it's because I don't go to other people's gardens. If you do that in Texas, you'll get shot if you just walk into someone else's garden.
Hey, I had a gig in a garden yesterday.
You did? And there was butterflies?
Yeah, it was gorgeous. It was a flower garden.
What type? What color
I don't know.
Were they?
Like yellow and black.